Welcome to Bioremediation and Dr. Mick. In this video, we need to explain what are the guidelines for site remediation for the bioremediation strategies, which includes the site characterizations, also propose the strategies for the bioremediation, and propose the monitoring plan. Finally, we need to explain what are the advantages and disadvantages of the bioremediation process. All will be explained after the break. Welcome back. The guidelines for site remediation proposals should include some basic elements. One of these elements is the site characterization. So this site characterization should contain some factors. These factors are related to the site characterization of the contamination. So the factors for the site characterization are: we have to fully determine the horizontal and vertical extent of the contaminations. Also, we need to list the parameters and locations to be sampled and rational for their choice as well. That means you have to know about the site characterization. What is the temperature of the site? What is the humidity of the site? And other parameters as well. Also, you have to carefully describe what are the methods to be used for sample acquisitions and also sample analysis to be performed as well. So you have to collect some data about the site of your contamination. Some parameters you have to collect, how to collect the samples, how you can analyze the samples, what are the parameters of the site contamination as well. So the second basic elements we have is the proposed strategy for bioremediation. And this is very important for a specific treatment chosen and should include the following factors: as analyze alternatives approach for site remediation. Also, you need to justify the alternative choosing and explain why it's likely to be effective or not. Also, you need to evaluate the factors that could potentially limit the rate or extent of the contaminant degradation. Also, you need to measure the contaminant degradation rate as well. It's very important. What is the rate of the degradation process? Also, you need to evaluate the potential of the contaminant transport as well. Also, during a proposal, you have to also ask very important questions. Is intended future site use consistent with degree of risk reduction achieved by remediation or not? Also, is intended future use consistent with local zoning requirements or not? Also, is the contaminant plume contained on site, or has migration to off-site properties already occurred or likely to occur as well? Very important. Also, you have to list action required if the contaminant plume approach and crosses the site boundary as well. So it's very important if the contaminant will be migrate from place to place or not. Also, this is very important. You have to determine this point. The third basic element we have is proposed monitoring plan. That means what is your monitoring plan to determine the different parameters necessary to demonstrate the efficacy of the remedy and issues related to site control. So in such monitoring, you have to describe the plans to monitor the processes that focus on determining the potential contaminant migration, if the contaminant will be migrated or not. Also, you have to identify the monitoring parameter rationale as well. Also, you need to minimum of quarterly monitoring after monthly monitoring for the site quarter as well. Also, you need to target the methods for the analysis identified. Also, you need to describe the sampling procedures as well, how you can collect the sample. Also, the data must demonstrate the decreasing the contamination over time as well. That means the contaminant should be reduced with the time. Also, how you can measure the type of the degradation as well. occurring and the presence of necessary chemical and physical conditions. Also provisions for the routine and the emergency site maintenance, very important. Finally, the site security described. So during the bioremediation process, you have to take care also the site, because during the bioremediation maybe the contaminant may be migrate or maybe contaminate another sites around the contaminated sites as well. So now we need to explain some advantages of the bioremediation process. Actually, we have many bioremediation advantages and also varied. Some of these advantages are the equipment requirements are minimal, very minimal equipments required compared to the other remediation technologies like the chemicals and physical processes. Also, the bioremediation can be implemented as in situ or ex-situ method depending on the conditions. You can choose, you can do the bioremediation in situ or ex-situ. Also, the low cost for the bioremediation of treatment per unit volume of soil or groundwater compared to other remediation technologies. Even the technology equipment very low is required. Also, bioremediation perceived positively by the public because it's a natural process. Finally, the complete breakdown of the contaminant from toxic compound to non-toxic compounds is possible because the process doesn't involve the transferring the contaminants to another environmental medium. The last point in this video is the disadvantage of the bioremediation process. We can mention some disadvantage of the bioremediation process. One of these disadvantages is the bioremediation is limited to those compounds that are biodegradable. Any other contaminant, non-degradable, cannot use the bioremediation. Also, there are some concerns that the products of the bioremediation may be more toxic than the parent compounds. Actually, we don't know if the degraded compounds maybe the degradable compounds may be more toxic than the original compounds. This is also one of the disadvantages of the bioremediation process. Also, the biological processes are often highly specific. Not all the contaminants, all the pollutants can be degraded, but only some able to degradable, others cannot. Also, one of the disadvantages bioremediation is it's difficult to extrapolate from bench and pilot scale studies to full scale field operations. That means sometimes the bioremediation on the bench scale successfully done, but in full scale may be failed. Also, research is needed to develop and engineer the bioremediation technologies as well. From time to time you have to improve the technology. Also, one of the disadvantages of the bioremediation is the contaminant. Contaminants sometimes in different forms. Maybe the contaminant in gas form, maybe solid form, or maybe in liquid form. Also, the bioremediation takes longer time than other technologies. Sometimes it takes weeks, sometimes it takes months, and also maybe years. So this is the end of this video today, and don't forget to share, like and subscribe and activate the bell to reach all of my new videos. Thank you, good luck, and bye bye.